What's up, guys?
What's going on, Jay? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right. Good afternoon, young man. Good afternoon.
What's going on? You on the road?
You know it. You know it.
Yeah, I asked him a crazy question, huh?
It's okay. It's okay, man. You get the lifetime pass, man. No problem.
That's what's up. Yeah. Matter of fact, I said I was gonna reach out to you because Patrick wanted to holler at you. He didn't have your number. I thought I was gonna send it to him.
Okay, no problem.
Hello, y'all.
Hey, Sing.
How you doing?
Yeah, he's looking to jump ship, Neef. So he's trying to do something. I don't know.
Okay, no problem.
Hanif, did you get my email?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Thank you, Sing.
You're welcome.
I told him what you were doing. He said, "What?"
It's Uncle Pat, right?
Uh-huh.
Absolutely.
Said,
No
"Yep."
problem.
I said, "That's the man to talk to right there." He was
No
excited.
problem. It started with him, man. So, you know how it is. Full circle.
Yeah, he was excited, definitely. Yeah. Catherine. Well, she's connecting. Yeah, it's been a long time. I feel like I ain't been on here in a minute. Jersey was a circus.
I bet.
Yeah, real talk. Really was.
With your family event go well?
Yeah, well as it was going to be, thank you. It was it was rough. My uncle was very, very important to my family. Not just, of course, a loved one would be, but my grandmother, he was taking care of my grandma, the matriarch. And so she's now going to be relocating to the Baltimore area.
Oh, she's coming to Baltimore?
To Columbia, yeah. I have another uncle that lives in Columbia, right outside of Baltimore. So
Okay.
he's going to take her. But what would be our meeting place when we come into town for almost the last 20 years will be no more because she's going to be gone. She's been living up there for over 60 years.
Oh wow.
So that's a big chapter closing. So that's it's a big deal. So it was a lot of tears from losing him, but at the same time, it was a lot of adjustments. My aunt, she's going away from Jersey. Their daughter lives in Richmond, and so she's going to go down there, and essentially her whole family, because my daughter lives in Richmond. The youngest is at Duke right now, and the oldest is just going to go because he's going to go with the rest of his siblings and his mom.
Right.
And so that's a portion of my family that has totally relocated to Virginia, or what will be in January.
Okay.
From so it's a good look, man. It's good for them, but it's definitely a different situation.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the rest of my family up there, they don't have grandma's house to go to no more.
Oh wow. That's something.
That's a big deal, matriarch. Everybody, that was the meeting place.
Yeah, I remember when that happened to my family. It was tough to deal with.
Yeah. Natasha,
Hi,
hey,
how you doing?
I'm doing well. You know, I always get excited when you're around.
You're funny.
What's
How's
going
everything?
on?
Oh, everything's well.
That's
Can't
what's up.
complain.
Look, you done turned from PR to publishing to modeling. You-
Natasha!
Hi, Susan.
Long time no see.
I know. I'll come on camera shortly. How you been?
I'm good, good.
Good.
Permiss is on the phone too.
Hi, Permiss.
How you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm doing well. Family reunion.
I know, right?
Right?
Absolutely.
I surprised y'all, huh?
Yes, you did.
Oh my God.
Y'all must be teachers tonight, huh?
No,
Us?
they're in the
We
class.
students.
No, we in the class. We in the
They
class.
need to be teaching a class.
Look,
Wow.
if we were doing media, you know, Neef would have been there right there with me. And Singleton, she already got everybody wild by her social media prowess.
Thank you.
Wow.
Right? Right?
Yeah, so I had to go pull out the big guns. That's why I had to go call you.
That's
Wow.
funny. Well, I'm excited
Wow.
to be here.
Hey,
Absolutely.
you know, I got to get a backstory when everybody come on.
Oh my gosh.
What? You know, I got
Hi,
my
Emerald. Hi. How are you?
Great. Thanks for coming on.
I'm excited to be here.
We're excited to have you. So excited.
So how's the new book?
It's going. I've been working on everyone else's projects. I need to promote my own.
I'm on your email list. I'll get your blast. So you doing something?
Oh, thank you. Yeah.
I know what it means. I know what you mean because I just let my book out 5 months ago, but my daughter just released hers a month ago and it trumped mine. So,
Right.
you know, I'm more focused on her book than mine.
I know. It looks like it's an amazing book that she has out there too.
Yeah, she's knocking it out the park. You know, she's knocking it out the park. Her school, she's doing virtual. They like have school choice, so we can choose to let the kids go and not. We chose to keep them virtual because we running our own virtual learning pod in our space down here.
Mm-hmm.
But her school want her to come in and do a presentation on her book to the students that's there. So she's been knocking out the park, and surprisingly, she's been handling it like a champ. You know, we put her in some real hot spots, and she's performed.
That's amazing. I love it.
So, you know, I definitely understand. You know, when her project came out, mine went to talk.
Right. Yeah. So if I have the kids camp again next year, we got to get her on there as a teacher.
I would love to. By that time, because she's a 3-book series, so by April we're anticipating having the second one, and then by next October she had the third one, and we can complete the 3-book series.
Nice.
Yeah, so we already said during Christmas break, while everybody else is living it up, we're gonna we're gonna be working, knocking this thing out. So yeah, it's been fun. It's been fun. How's everybody doing? Catherine, are you on? Sister Thompson, how are you? Sister Linda Thompson. Yeah, Catherine Thompson. How you been? No earthquakes over there in California?
Hey, as of right now, we holding tight. I hope it stay that way. Now if there's an earthquake tonight, I'm gonna call you.
Don't let me talk it up.
Don't let you talk it over. I'm calling you first, though. My Jay, what you doing?
Every bit of California in the first couple months. They said we gonna give her an earthquake, a fire, traffic.
Everything that they had, they threw our way.
Yeah.
Well, 38 degrees the other day too, so I think we done seen it all officially.
It was 38 degrees.
38 degrees yesterday when we woke up.
In Riverside? Jesus,
Dude.
that's a mess.
Yeah, we did it all.
You can get sick like that. That's a mess. So yeah, this is gonna be. Hey, Joanna, how you doing? Catherine, this is another Catherine in here.
Hello.
Hey, how you doing?
Doing all right. How is everyone?
Great.
Well, definitely wanted to extend. I know we talked on email, but extend my condolences to you and your family.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
When you were sending me a message, I was in New Jersey at a funeral myself.
Oh my goodness. I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah, so I definitely understand. You know, we couldn't do our class Thursday because as soon as I got there, you know, I had got put to work. So
Yeah.
you know how that goes, but you know, I'm glad you can make it. To everyone, this is
Yeah.
Catherine Spider Center. She works with Main Street America out of Camden, South Carolina. We've done some work together this summer. I was able to do a presentation for her this summer as well. We met this February, right before the world went crazy.
Right?
I was speaking at an entrepreneurial function, and then we kept the relationship going. So we're looking to do more work with the city of Camden but we wanted to let her come in and see some of the things we're doing with FastTrac. And so say hello to everybody. Say hello to Catherine.
Thank you for having me.
Catherine.
Hey, Catherine.
Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, so today we're going to be talking about marketing. We were talking about it pretty much all last week. We're probably going to have I'm going to bring it up to you guys, try to get an hour in sometime this week to get back to the groups so we can work on our marketing plans that we put out. I know some people were behind. I got text messages saying they were kind of happy that they had a break because they had to catch up. So I understand, you know. There's Angelo, bro. Hey, welcome back. Thank you, man. Yeah. So Angelo, there's Catherine right there. Catherine Spider Center. She's from Camden, Main Street America. Yeah. And we also have my good friend, Emerald's classmate. I was introduced to Natasha Brown years ago, by almost 10 years ago now. And when I got into this media game, I was brand new. And she took me to California and she showed me how to, you know, I always tell a story and she laughs at me because I was such a novice. She had me on the red carpet the first day in California. I was not prepared. And I'm meeting all these celebrities, people I saw on TV. And she was like, get it together, man, you know, because I couldn't do my job. I was too, you know, in error by seeing all these people I saw on TV. And she's like, I really brought a newbie out here with me. But we ended up having an amazing time out there. We spent about a week out there. We did some amazing work with some of the greatest people. And then when we came back to DC, we did a whole lot of good work there too. So she was my publicist when I got started in the media game years ago. And she's still doing amazing work. And so I can't think of nobody else better to talk to you guys about marketing than someone who actually helped me and taught me so much at an early time in my career. So y'all say hi to Natasha Brown, formerly of Think Brown Inc. Think Brown Inc. And now it's LOI International. Okay, I gotta get there. I gotta make sure I get the company right. So yeah.
Yeah, I got it on.
Okay.
It's on this one over here.
Oh, okay. B. Yeah, so she's in the DC area, but she is international. She spent a lot of time in Africa and, you know, doing some a lot of work, missionary work, as well as writing books and helping other people write their books and doing a whole bunch of stuff. And I'm gonna let her tell you guys, but first thing, to Natasha, say hello to everybody and introduce yourself.
Hi, everyone. How are you doing? So you want me to introduce myself, Jay?
Yeah, we're gonna do some updates, but you can introduce yourself better than me. I just wanted to kind of tell them my little cheesy story about.
Absolutely. So it's such an honor to be here. Thank you for having me. I absolutely love working with Jay and Emerald, and the I Won't Starve Academy is such an honor. I actually went to high school with Emerald. So, and I think, did we go to elementary school too in middle school? Yeah, we just went to school together the whole time. So I worked with Jay when he first started his media company in 2010 and 11, I think. And we did some really fun things together. That's back when I was doing public relations and marketing. And I've pretty much always been a storyteller. And so the way that life works, now what I do primarily is I work with authors. I own a publishing and media company. So we do a lot of book writing and kind of book publishing, book coaching, but we also help those same authors brand themselves and do marketing as well. So I still do marketing. It's just in a different aspect, but I have been trained in marketing. And so today I'm looking forward to talking with you all a little bit. It's going to be pretty informal, but I'm praying that you'll get some jewels out of it. And I'm excited about it. So thanks for having me.
Thank you, Natasha. This is how we virtually clap.
Awesome. I love it.
So updates, I'm going to pick on Sean because him and I had a long conversation the other day, and if he gets back on camera, Sean is knocking it out the park now. So yeah, he's coming back. He's rushing. Sean, while you eating your food, I want you to share with your classmates about something big you got going on this week.
Okay, hold on a second.
Commercial. We go to commercial.
What you eating?
A Hot Pocket.
Oh, okay.
Nigga said I was just gonna take a commercial break and let this man finish chewing his food.
Okay.
He can virtually share.
All right.
Yeah, you can virtually share some of that food if you.
All right. So what ended up happening this week is I think last week I was on a Zoom meeting and I was talking with the guy there was a guy that was had done a TEDx talk, and he was on one of. And he was on a just doing a presentation, and he had said something about, he had learned how to speak better from Toastmasters. And so I was like, all right. And like everything that he was saying, like really hit home with me, because when I edit my podcast, I noticed like a lot of poor speech patterns that I have, like a lot of ums, you know what I mean? Like all these words that everybody has a phrase that they use, whatever it is. And I noticed mine, and I was like, all right, well, I'm going to join Toastmasters too, because if that can help me, that's cool. Well, when I did that, one of the guys that was in that meeting has a real estate office in Brentwood, which is like right close by where I'm at. And he asked me, he's like, hey, can you come and produce a podcast for me? Because I know you have one of your own. And, I'm trying to, start something. And I was like, well, all right. And I went and met with them, and I'm going to start on Thursday, the first one. And so that's kind of interesting. And I had reached out to Jay because I know how to do my own, and this is really easy because this is a webcam right here and in this light. And that's just a single person deal. He's wanting me to record like 4 to 5 people at a table. So I had to ask Jay, I'm like, hey man, I've been in this situation before where I tried to act like I knew what I was doing and got caught. And that was pretty embarrassing. And so I asked him for some assistance, like, what should I do? I mean, I don't know how to do this. I mean, I know how to do what I do, but like in integrating a bunch of people and a bunch of cameras into the mix is like something a little bit more complex. So I figured out kind of what I want to do with it, and lucky enough that the guy is really, we talked, and I'm like, hey man, I'm just kind of starting out, trying to do this, and I know you are too, so why don't we just kind of help each other and grow together? And so he was pretty down. He was down with that.
Love it, love it. I wanted you to share that because A is dope. It's great. It's a great testimony. Somebody reached out to you for a paying gig, and you weren't afraid to ask for help. In business, we have to be okay with asking for help. Our network truly is our network. If you can't reach out to someone, a lot of us have it. We just won't say anything. We just won't say anything. I'm glad Natasha's on right now. This is so funny because I went through like 5 different people trying to help me, doing this thing. I mean, almost got kicked off of Facebook doing a blog. I was posting on my wall. And so get with Natasha, she kind of cleaned my whole thing up. But Emerald didn't care nothing about what I was doing with that. I just kept aggravating her. She said, I got a classmate who's into this stuff. Let me just call her. And I'm like, you called the best person you could have called. She knows like everybody. It was like no time. But if I didn't finally keep harassing even my wife, because she's like in accounting, she's doing all this major stuff. She's not thinking about the stuff I'm doing. She's like, okay, that's his little thing, whatever. But I harassed her for like months. And she finally said, you know what? I know somebody. And she actually went to school with the person. And so you got to speak up. You got to speak up. And then, you being able to use integrity as well, going to them and just saying, hey, look, I'm just starting out. You're going to learn priceless information. It's going to be great. They're also willing to pay you. So the more you do, the more they'll pay. But they want to grow as well. They see that. They don't want to get taken to the bank, to the cleaners either. So it's a good situation. So I definitely wanted him to share that. So good job, Sean.
Thank you. And Catherine, I haven't forgot about you. I don't use Instagram a whole lot. So the best way to contact me is through Facebook, or I'll just put my number in there and you can just text me and we can go that route.
Awesome sauce. Thank you, sir.
Yep.
So anybody try to touch their marketing plan, their outline? Anybody try to touch it? Or did you?
Yeah, I did.
Oh, okay. Here we go. And here we go. How was it?
How was it? It was tough. I'm not gonna lie, because sometimes for me, it's hard turning the mirror on myself. I could see somebody else and help them with theirs, from the outside going into them. But to turn it and turn it on myself was a little tough for me. But needless to say, one of the things I decided to put in place for myself as a marketing tactic was I'm going to be starting at the end of this week, this Friday. I'm going to be starting a Facebook Live series through in partnership with the women's organization I'm a member of, called NABFIM, which stands for National Association of Black Female Executives in Music and Entertainment. I've been a member for several years now. And I'm also the DC, Maryland, Virginia network leader. Due to COVID, we got shut down. We had to stop all of our in-person events. But I haven't really taken up any virtual events for the DC, Maryland, Virginia area. So I just decided to stop BSing and put something together. And I have about 4 interviews already lined up. I'm going to take it every week into the new year, interviewing women, female music executives, artists, anybody in parallel industries, every week for about an hour on live.
Hey, shake.
Good job. Good job.
Thank
Love it. Love it.
Good network.
That's
the flyer for the first one is in the chat in a link if y'all want to go check it out.
So Catherine, Spotted Center. So we call Catherine S. Cat S. So you have individuals coming to your office or used to come to your office, maybe they just call and email you now, trying to get started with their business. What are some of the things that you encounter with them as far as marketing their business? Do they have a clue or a plan when they come to you about marketing their business? Some of the people that you deal with?
So yes, I would say that it varies. I think as Jay mentioned at the beginning, I'm the Main Street manager for the city of Camden, and the Main Street America network it reaches far and wide. So depending on where you all are at, I would say that your Main Street manager is one of the best friends you can have if you have one. Otherwise, a representative at a local or regional small business development center could help you in the same fashion. But so a lot of folks that I meet, whether they're starting a new business or they have a well-established brick and mortar business, but they just never got around to figuring out the marketing piece. Marketing is oftentimes one of the last things that people think about, and it's probably at the bottom of the list when it comes to what business owners are willing to spend their money on. And I get that. I mean, we all know how hard it is to start your own business. So what I say to anybody who walks in my door is, at the very least, you need to establish your business on Google, only because Google is pretty much the only way you're going to get found in a search online. People are going to look for whatever product or whatever service it is that you offer, but they're not going to know that you're the one offering it. They're going to look for XYZ near me. And that's why it's so important that you have your business listed on Google, even if you don't have a brick and mortar. Even if you're just online, a consultant, an agency, an advertising or marketing partner for these people, just make sure that they can find you. And Google is free. Depending on what kind of a business you have, you can choose how to interact with social media. Some people, especially product-based businesses, definitely should take advantage of the world of Instagram. And now that Facebook owns Instagram, they kind of go hand in hand. And in most cases, you can post to both at the same time. So it's kind of two birds, one stone. And I would say also too, just make friends with your local media, because you never know when they're going to be looking for that special interest story. And you just might be that ray of sunshine that they need for whatever it is they're putting out this day or week or month. So that's my quick tip.
Thank you so much. And I mean, I'm definitely happy to have you here. And Angelo, this is Angelo McBride. You didn't have a chance to meet him. He retired from the City of Columbia Office of Business Opportunity. So you guys, have dealt with a lot of businesses coming in and out of your offices. And Angelo would tell me all the time, it had nothing. They said, pay for this. We need $50,000, but they had nothing. Nothing to offer, and this is one of those things we want to tell people, the marketing piece, you got to invest in yourself. You definitely have to invest in yourself. This is where it gets hard. I tell people all the time, you want to make $100,000, you got to be willing to at least try to put $10,000 in that year for yourself. Now that sounds like a lot, but it's only $800 a month, literally. So we can lay off some, eating out. We can not have the greatest pair of shoes, ladies, fellas, not a haircut every week, maybe every other week, to iron that out, and you'll start to see it come back, tenfold in your business. So this is one of those things. So I know Singleton said she took a stab at her outline. Did anybody have anything specific that they had trouble with in the outline, or they didn't even understand in the outline?
I keep getting stuck on. I mean, I know a nonprofit is the same as it's like a regular corporation, other than the tax exempt status, but like like, who am I selling to? Where do you find your customers? Why do they need what you're selling? Like that stuff is what I'm still working on. I feel like I'm all over the place, man. I got way too much going on.
But that's what you're here for. And one of the things when people say nonprofit, you know, it tugs at your heartstrings. And so when you start saying, who are you selling to? You already started cringing. You know, and all that other stuff. But it's organizations out here that have said, they set an organization, they want to help a certain people, but they don't have what you have to help them. You know, so that's your client. So let's just say this organization really wants to touch ex-offenders. Those are people who you want to work with, but they don't have they might not even have the manpower. They say it's a 5-man team, but they have great grant writers on staff to say, you know what, Sean put out a proposal for 100 grand that he's going to need 100 grand to do a program underneath us. They write a grant, put your company in there, boom. Now you got 100K. You know, you have to find out, like my relationship with Wood Forest Bank is exactly that. Wood Forest Bank has responsibilities to the community that they have to, you know, they're responsible for the year. Well, everybody's not going to take off the 3-piece suit and come out there and get their hands dirty. Well, I'm already there where they need to be. So long as I can produce, when I need them, I have checks cut. So that's how that has worked for me with them. When Angelo was working with the city, that's how our relationship started with when I Won't Starve started. I said, hey, come out and see this program. Saw the program. Next thing you know, we was able to fill up their classes with people who came through our program. Well, they pay people to do that. If we're doing it, that's been going on for like 4 years now, still going. They called me, hey, the class is coming, we need people. Okay, we'll make it happen. So you have to find people, what people, where they need you and why they need you. And can you produce? So just don't let the nonprofit thing sway you. Because it tugged at my heartstrings for years. Everyone kept telling me to do nonprofit. I'm like, no, well, that's charity. I'm a capitalist to heart. And so, you know, it took long. We're hard-headed. We're men, we're hard-headed, you know. This is what you say when your wife is on. So, Catherine, how did you do? Catherine T. Cat T.
Catherine T took advantage of the break. I broke. Yeah, I did not engage that assignment. So I did not take this opportunity to my advantage.
Because I want you guys to be able to help each other when we go back to that class, so that everybody can, I want everybody's outline to be like sparkling and tight when it's over, when you finish this class. Joanna, did you make Rob get his act together?
So we still have to work on our assignment, but we did spend a lot of time thinking and working on the structure and getting our papers organized so that we know what we need to do going forward with things, so that I can position myself to be majority owner of the business, so that we can get the certifications that you started talking about. So we focused a lot on that, working on our own website, because like who said it earlier? Someone said earlier, Singleton, she's like, you spend so much time working on other people's stuff, and I hadn't put that investment in mine, like you said, with marketing ourselves too. That, and took your advice and started working on LinkedIn, which Robert pushed a lot with that, and started putting things on there and updating information out there too.
Love it, love it, love it, love it. Double minority. Go ahead and get these contracts. Go ahead and get these government contracts. Now, Shaitan was trying to take over the world this week. I saw on Facebook. You want to share your celebrity status?
I don't appreciate the being put on the spot like this, but no, I've had the opportunity to be a part of what's called the Global Entrepreneur Network. There's a lady in our city who is sponsoring 30 entrepreneurs. As far as in like we got free, well, we had to pay a small fee, but it's definitely not what we would have had to pay. But we got branding pictures. My story will be in a book. It'll be in a magazine. We're we had an opportunity to tape, to be a host and get an interview on her show over the weekend. So that'll air on BET, OWN, FX, Lifetime, some local Atlanta stations, and then also commercial.
Taking over the world.
Yeah,
you didn't lie, Jay. I had to unmute myself. Come on. You get full clap for that.
Thank you. It's all glory to God.
Yes, you can do put your virtual autograph in the chat.
Oh gosh.
And congratulations in order you got your office space.
I did, yes. I'm so excited about that too. That took me a while, but I'm excited because now I can get out of my house. Most people want to be in the house, and I did, but been there, done that. Now I'm good. I need my own space.
So you've been there spending real money, because I'm telling you, as long as you sit in your house, you're gonna find something wrong with it. You're gonna start fixing stuff, and your light bill gonna go crazy. Listen, get out the house. My light bill, since we got out, started coming to the office, I like that went down and down. I said, yes, don't touch nothing, don't turn on nothing. It's amazing. That's great. Congratulations.
Thank you.
So how are things in Texas, Sister Thompson?
Big Tex.
You're on mute.
Okay, I'm back. Saying that weather-wise is beautiful here. We're still averaging about 75 degrees weather every day.
Wow.
Been tied up with some family matters. Haven't been able to work the business too much this past week, but looking forward to try to get back into the groove. But everything other than that, it's okay.
That's good. That's good. And I think we have the Brown family. They was revamping their whole business plan. And I think that Keisha was beating up on Quinn.
No, not beating up on him. I'm sorry, I was driving, so I'm just catching.
You're on mute.
All right. Woo. All right. Doing mommy things.
We understand.
So yes, we are revamping our business plan. We had strict plans to just disinfect, and we had a wonderful talk with Jay and Emerald, and they helped bring a few things to light for us. And so we, what we see ourselves doing now is partnering. We actually know some people who do janitorial, a lot of the types of things that you all talked to us about with the different cleaning, floors, and things like that. So we want to begin to build partnerships with some of those people to where we can work together and really market the business.
Love it.
Oh, also one more thing. Last week, I think it was, we did finally hear from Richland County. So we have a business license number. We have paid. We're just waiting for the whatever paperwork to come back. So we're getting there.
Yeah, that's good. That's great stuff. I know it's slow rolling now with all of this, with COVID and everything. So many people get comfortable at home. They still getting the check now, gotta get out the bed. So
all right.
It's hard to get them to do some work for you. But it's okay. Yeah, well, they're doing disinfecting, but now they're gonna add the janitorial portion to it. They're gonna partner up with the company because again, we were talking about you have to have a certain level of client. We don't want their business to be something that you can just let go. But when it's a luxury,
Yeah.
you know, that's the first thing to go. You know, you got somebody come and clean your house. As soon as the bills get a little tight, that's the first person to go.
Yeah.
You know, anything that's a luxury goes first. So I wanted them to have something that, you know, people need. And working commercially, they always need the janitorial portion.
Yeah.
And they'll say, hey, I can disinfect myself. And I don't want them to just go ahead and buy you out. Go start buying their own stuff. And, you know, so.
The reason why I asked that question because Richland County, they just had a RFP on the table for janitorial service for the county.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah, that's why I mentioned that. Yeah.
What, you want to go to the Richland County OSBO, Office of Small Business Opportunity, and get certified? Because they probably won't try to give you that contract unless you get certified with them. Okay. So go to the Richland County OSBO. Who is doing this certification? Is it Michelle Thomas?
Or Cheryl.
Cheryl Cook at Richland County OSBO, Office of Small Business Opportunity. And she does the certification process. It doesn't take that long. You know, you just don't know with people not being in offices like that. But when we did ours, it didn't really take that long. Yeah. Emerald says she'll connect you guys. Cheryl, she yells at me from time to time just because she feels like it. So, like half the rest of the people in that office. So it's a bunch of ladies, and they talk. You know, they beat me up whenever they feel like it.
So, online anyway.
Yeah. So yeah. Congratulations to all you guys. This is one of the reasons why we do this. Is I want to see growth. We want everybody to see your growth, participate in your growth. A lot of times doing entrepreneurship, you're doing it alone, and nobody can tell you what's the matter.
B, so you're not gonna ask him how things.
B, I'm coming around the corner, man. B, you've been lighting up the chat, man. So I didn't talk to Hanif either. You know, the ladies take over, man. The ladies take over. So hold up. B, tell us about the podcast.
All right, good evening, everybody. I'm messing with you. So the podcast is going to drop on Friday. I just proofed it and everything today and said I wanted to share it with you guys. So certainly late tonight or tomorrow when you get some time, just check it out. You know, throw me some constructive criticism, anything that you like. So basically it's a pod, about 30 minutes. You cover everything that I'm doing with the nonprofit, as well as the John Maxwell team and some other considerations on there. I don't want to give everything away, but I didn't get fully to the market plan last week, because I was working on my partnerships, right? Getting stuck there because I'm looking at the Marlboro Ridge Equestrian Center, as well as repartnering with Patriots Technology Training Center for some of the STEM or STREAM stuff that we'll be doing. And just trying to cultivate, you know, those relationships and open up some new doors. Plus, you know, just like everybody else, you can't forget about your full time. So right now I'm doing some curriculum development for next year. So that takes out a lot. So I'm not slacking. I'm staying on top of stuff, just trying to focus on the areas where I can get the most out of my drive right now, and then recircle back around, because I do want to get back with Singleton about picking her brain about the marketing stuff with Facebook ads and all that kind of stuff, because that's where I'm thinking about going next, to kind of seeing what that avenue will kind of drive for us.
Love it. And please reach out to us. Some people in the class has already reached out to us outside of class. We've made time to have conversations about the curriculum as well as personal things with business that you might be working on. So we made ourselves available. We would do it for anybody on here. So if you just reach out, set up a time, we'll meet. The Browns was able to come to the office. They're in the same city, so we don't have a problem with doing that. So we're trying to make sure that everybody gets to where they need to get to in a timely manner. We want to close out the year strong, you know. Hanif, come on, man. Tell them your big news this week.
Wow, Jay, can you hear me good?
Yep.
Copy that, man. Well, good evening, everybody. It's been a great week. I don't know if I shared this, but we secured truck number 5, so we 5 trucks strong. And we are finally, it's been a long process, but we submitted our last round of papers for all of our certifications. Which was a long process, but it was well worth it. So, we're very excited about that. And doing the marketing plan, it made me realize, I think, Catherine touched on this earlier, is she was absolutely right. We didn't really realize doing all of these things that, all right, it's time to market the business. And obviously everything now is going so on the social media route as well as the hand in hand. And so, now we, going into, well, we're already in the fourth quarter, but finishing out the year strong, we really want to dive in and really put a lot of emphasis into that. So we're going to be working on that at the end of the week. So really excited, man. So, the marketing plan that you guys gave really allowed me and my team to really open up and see where exactly can we poke the holes at or fill in the holes for our book of business. So, really big week, man.
Love it, love it, love it. Listen, when he told me that, I said, I'm gonna have you teaching the class, man. They're knocking it out the park down there in Atlanta. This is big. And I'm thankful that you got 2 of the trucks while you were in here. So
absolutely.
My prayers is that what you're getting out of here is helping. But the beautiful thing is 2 years, less than 2 years, it'll be 2 years in January, correct? Honey?
That is correct.
Yeah, so it doesn't always
that's correct. Yeah.
Yep. Yep. Yeah, it doesn't always have to take 10 years. He's focused, and the team is focused, and they're making it happen. So, I definitely love that. And congratulations to you. Congratulations to everybody. This is what we're talking about in the beginning. Some people hadn't even really got started yet. Now you're hearing people got their licenses, people doing certifications, somebody got their own office. This is what we got about 4 more weeks to go. And I'm only can imagine what we're going to hear by the time December 10th came, what everybody's doing. So I'm excited. I'm elated about what's going on. I had to bring bringing the big guns tonight, as I told you guys with Natasha. One of the main reasons why I brought Natasha is because she worked with me. A lot of times people meet people and they're, glorifying them from afar. They see them on social media, they got all these thousands of this, thousands of that. But I saw it with my own eyes. I didn't know anything about media at the time, and she made me into something that, I didn't even think I could be. And so I want to be authentic to people I've actually worked with. That's my whole thing. I want to stay authentic to any teaching, any instructions. And so if she can help me out and you guys look to me for some of these things, I know she can help you guys. So without further ado, I'm going to bring Miss Natasha T. Brown, and she's going to talk to you guys about some marketing. Take it in, because she knows what she's talking about. Natasha, take it away. Was that a good introduction?
Yes, that was a great introduction. Thank you. Hi, everybody. Okay, so a couple of things that you guys got to know about me before we get started is, one, I have a lot of energy. I was a cheerleader in high school and college. I actually won an award, the most spirited cheerleader. So I'm like always smiling. I'm super excited. Okay, so that's number one. So don't judge me. Don't judge me, okay? Number two, I just want to say, I just think that everyone can learn from everyone. So I'm learning a lot from you all, even just by listening to some of your updates. So I just want to thank you for sharing some of the things that you all are doing. And I learned about this global entrepreneur network that Shaitan is involved in. It sounds amazing, and getting contracts and all this stuff. So you all are doing some really great things already. And so my goal tonight is really just to tell you something, share something that will hopefully inspire you. If you can take away one nugget from something that I say tonight, I just think that would be I would be happy with that. So without further ado, I just want to talk a little bit. I kind of want to do some icebreakers, some questions that will kind of help shape the conversation. So this will be a conversation. So unmute your phones if you can as I ask you these questions, but can you all tell me just some of your businesses, like what you're actually doing? Because I heard some of your updates, but I didn't hear what the actual business or nonprofit was. So if you could just take maybe 15 seconds and just tell me a little bit about some of the businesses that you all have. Sean, I'll just call on names. How about that?
My business, I mean, it started as a podcast. I started a podcast because of my situation that I came out of prison and all this other stuff. And then I decided I wanted to start a nonprofit for men re-entering from incarceration. And through that, it's like, things have kind of taken off in that direction, because I'm talking to a production company about doing a documentary series for a person re-entering into society, and I'm taking them in as a mentor.
Okay, wonderful. Okay, so cool. That's amazing. So here's going to be the format. Okay, so this is all a part of the marketing night. Okay, so I want you to tell me your name, like what your name is, what you do, and who you do it for. Okay, so this is what we're going to do. So I'm going to call on somebody else. Catherine Thompson, what's your name? Well, I know your name. What do you do and who you do it for?
All right, great to be second. That was sarcastic. Catherine Thompson, I am a life coach with an emphasis on finances, and I help move people from the forgotten, which is everybody, from where they are to where God is calling them to, which is greater than what you think you know.
I love it. I love that. Yay. Okay. Miss Linda Thompson.
Hi, everybody. Again, Linda Thompson, nonprofit, going in that direction. We're not there yet, but that's the direction we're going into. Name of the business is called Crossroad Networks. I also am a life coach with life building skill sets. And we're going to use our life coaching skills to help bring people together, particularly young mothers, young adults, and show them that there is a light at the end of the tunnel and hope for a new beginning.
Awesome. Okay, so one more volunteer. Who wants to volunteer? Okay, I was looking at you, Jana.
You got it. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, my name is Jana Matthews. I am a change champion, change agent professionally. I am starting my first LLC, and my goal is to provide change management services and consultations for potential businesses, but eventually to help develop change champions in our youth to change the world that's coming.
That's amazing. I love that. You all have some really inspirational businesses. Okay, so it sounds like a lot of people can use your services all over the world. So I'll just share just some things that God put on my heart to share with you all today. And then I kind of want to leave it open for questions, okay? So as Jay mentioned, it was such an honor to work with him. And we worked a lot on media. And his goal was really to get in the media. And that was when I was really heavy in public relations and marketing. I had a lot of relationships with media outlets. And Jay really pushed me because he called one day and was like, hey, we're going to go to LA and get media. And I'm like, what? Like, who does that? Like, what do you mean we're going to go to LA and get media? And like, that was my first time ever in LA. And we did that. And we went there, and it was like, you know, beforehand, I went and set up some events, and Jay had some people that he knew on the ground there. And we just kind of went, and we were like go-getters. And so the first thing that I want to share with you all is really just to be a go-getter about what you have going on. And I wrote this book, me and one of my associates, we wrote this book a couple of years ago. It's a workbook, and it's called Make Them Believers, Be Seen, Be Heard, Be Bankable. So a lot of what I'm sharing tonight is going to be in this workbook. But one of the things that hinders people in their marketing is actually not having the mindset to monetize. And so I want to talk about the mindset to monetize first of all. And if you have ever experienced any of these things, I just want you to just raise your hand. This is a pretty open environment. Like, we can keep it between ourselves, but we can be transparent today, right? Is that cool? Yes. Okay. So if you've ever dealt with any of these things, just like raise your hand. Okay. So some of the things that hinder our growth and marketing, the reason why you want to do marketing and branding well, the reason why you want to do marketing branding well is because you want to grow, right? You want to grow your business. You want to grow your bank account. You want to grow your influence. You want to grow your impact in the world. So some of the things that hinder us is not having that mindset to grow, that growth mindset. So have you ever put yourself last? Raise your hand. Okay, I see most hands up. If you've ever put yourself last, if you have ever tried to control a situation, an outcome of a situation, or control others. Yes. Okay. Because a lot of us, we try to control these things, but what we have to understand, and I don't know if you all are faith people, but I believe in God, and we have to understand is that God always has a plan, right? And so sometimes God wants to work things out one way organically, but we want to get in that way and make it happen the way we want it to happen. But sometimes it's going to happen a different way. So we can make plans, but we have to be open to being fluid. Like, being fluid is really important in business and in marketing. Perfectionism. How many people have struggled with perfectionism? You don't want to go public because it's not perfect, right? And so that's one thing that we have to get through in marketing is you cannot worry about perfect. Sometimes done is better than perfect. Now, here's the caveat though. We have to operate in excellence. So you want to be excellent. You want to do things well, but you don't want to wait until you see perfect before you go public. Okay. Playing small. How many of you all know you're amazing? You know you've done big things. You can do big things, but you tend to play yourself small. You tend to play small when you're around other people and in certain atmospheres. Maybe you don't want to seem like you're prideful. Perhaps you don't want to feel like you don't want to make other people feel like, you know, they can't be themselves. So you play small. How about you assume the worst? Do you ever assume the worst? Going into something, you're like, this isn't going to work. This is going to be bad. Like, I might as well not even do this. Is going to waste my time. Okay. And what about doubting your intuition, or if you're a believer, the Holy Spirit, like doubting what you know you heard inside, like what you know. If you've ever doubted yourself or doubted what you've heard your spirit tell you. What about procrastination? How many people have ever procrastinated? Okay, all of these things are going to prevent you from growing, and it's going to prevent your marketing from working. Okay, how about having toxic relationships in your life? Now, one of the things in my life, I'm gonna raise my hand. I was an entrepreneur, business owner, publicist, had clients on different media outlets, but at home, I had a toxic relationship. I was going through domestic violence. So that toxic relationship was impacting me in the public space. And so I couldn't even go forth and do marketing well. I couldn't, confidently and consistently show up because of toxic relationships. And so toxic relationships can be business relationships. It can be, you can have a toxic relationship with yourself. If you're always telling yourself negative thoughts in your head, that's a toxic relationship. And that's going to prevent you from going hard in your marketing. It's going to prevent you from showing up every day how you know you can, if you have a toxic relationship, even with yourself. What about needing the approval from others? needing to hear other people say that that's good, that's great, you did well. No, you have to know how to give yourself that own confirmation, knowing what you know. If you know it's good, it's good. It doesn't matter if you put it out and it gets 5 likes or it gets 500 likes. Keep going, okay? Also, what about fear? A fear of rejection or a fear of success? A fear of failure or fear of success, right? A lot of people deal with that. People pleasing. Many of us want to please people. We put out products or projects or businesses or do things to please others versus knowing we need to do something for our business or ourselves. Having anxiety. You know, some people, we deal with anxiety. Or what about grief? Or so we'll stop there. So many of us have dealt with those mindset challenges, right? I think everyone, is there anyone who did not deal with at least one of those? Is there someone who did not raise their hand on any of those? Anybody perfect in here? Oh, okay, cool. So we all in the same boat here. Okay, cool. All right, so I'm gonna share some tips here, and then I'm gonna see if we have time to go into some brand foundation things. And again, this is in this book. So if you do want the book, you can go to my website and you can get it. But I'm gonna just share some things. So here's some 2 important things that you want to make sure you implement in your marketing. Consistency. Okay, you need to show up every day and be consistent, and visibility. Consistency, of course, leads to visibility. Both of those will help your marketing before you have to spend $1 on Facebook ads, before you have to spend $1 on Google. If you show up every day, if you're consistent and if you're visible, you're going to get sales. You're going to get customers. People are going to notice you. Consistency and visibility, it'll cut out a lot of the dollars that people are spending. Okay, so how does that look then? How do we apply that consistency and visibility? Well, what is your primary space that you operate in? If you know that your business isn't necessarily an online business, you don't get clients from online, but you get your clients from networking, then you need to consistently show up and be visible at networking events, or you need to be reaching out to people on a consistent basis, introducing yourself, making those cold calls, okay? If you are an organization that will thrive in an online space, you need to show up every day online in different ways, but in the ways, and I'll talk about the ways that you can show up online, okay? So you need to be visible. Be consistent and visible, okay? And so does anyone have any questions right now before we go forward? No? Okay, cool. Are we still, okay, we're all here. Okay, cool. All right. Also, you want to think about who is your target audience. Who are you targeting? Like, who's your ideal person that you're going to reach out to? Earlier today, I had a meeting with one of our authors, and we're in the process of creating content for her. And we had our social media writer online. And so she's asking her all these questions. And immediately we say, okay, Elena, who is your target audience? And she knew off the bat who the 2 groups that she was targeting. And she said, who did she say? Powerful women and broken girls. So like women who are powerful and girls who have dealt with like brokenness. And so she knew who she was targeting. So I want you to just take a moment to write down your ideal person to receive that message that you have, that business that you have, that coaching. Who is that person? What do they look like? If you haven't done that already, you probably have. If you have been working with Jay and maybe he's giving you a marketing thing already, then you probably have done that. But you want to come up with like an avatar. Have you heard that before? An avatar of your ideal customer? So you all have done that. Okay. So you want to know who you're targeting, and then how do you reach them? So the way that I used to work when I used to do PR is I'm a very manual person. Despite how much times change, you can get information with a drop of a dime now, but I've always been this very manual researcher. So I would get clients and we would literally like research, like, where is their target audience? Where are they getting their news? Where do they shop? Who do they listen to? What blogs do they read? When are they on social media? Well, then what hashtags are they using? These are all the different ways that you can find your target audience. So you want to start to do searches on those things. Hashtag use, where they are located, what are they reading? Who are their influencers? So how do you reach them? And this will help on the public relations and the marketing side. Okay, and then you want to, let me see, where do I have to have notes everywhere? Okay, so who's your target audience and how do you reach them? Now, let's talk about, I want to go into like some either website, social media, like online ideas, online sort of tactics, right? One of the things that I used to do, and I would tell my clients this when I used to do branding heavily, is think of yourself as a television network, okay? Think of your company as a television network. Here's what I mean. So if you turn on a television network, unless it's like all news all day, but if I turn on my local television station, they will have news in the morning. They might have like a talk show, right? Then they might have like a series, an episodic show. They might sometimes have movies on the weekend. Sometimes it's sports. So there's all this different programming. What is your programming for your business? So life coaches, you might have empowerment programming, right? You might have healing programs. Perhaps you're offering solutions, or you might give people information, like introduce them to other service providers like therapists or other people who can kind of help along their journey of getting better, right? So what type of content then does your television network distribute? And then how do you distribute it? So if it's social media, right? And let's just say we're thinking of like social media. So our company, or me, I can say, I could use myself as an example. I distribute content that is inspirational, that's also convicting because I'm really faith-based. And then sometimes it's teaching. So it'll be like, tips or lessons. Also, I'm a storyteller, so I'm always trying to tell stories and engage people. But then I deliver that content in different ways. So the 3 ways that you always want to try to implement in this day and age in your brand is at least video. You want to have video, you want to have high quality images, and you want to offer wisdom. Okay, so if you have a trucking company, and let's just say there's a way that people can do trucking better now in these days, like they can save money if they pack the truck a certain way, or if they use, this type of gas. I have no clue about the trucking industry. I'm just making this up, right? Okay, so though that's the type of information that you might want to share. Like, let's just say you're helping your trucking company helps offices move or relocate, right? And so you might want to be giving tips about that. So wisdom, pictures, and some type of regular show, like some type of regular video content, whether it's like a live video every Sunday night where people can expect to come and meet you up close and personal. So I heard Sean say that he has a podcast, right? So that's his regular show. Well, then he can take his podcast and he can repurpose his content from his podcast. And so he might have his podcast, but then if his podcast comes out every Monday, well, then on Tuesday, he might put out a blog about his podcast. He might go live with the podcast host for 5 minutes, or, just upload a clip with him and the podcast guest, on Wednesday. So he might be doing something every day to promote that podcast. Then he might listen to the podcast and pull out graphics or I'm sorry, not graphics, tips or wisdom from that podcast and distribute them as word graphics, right? So you're reaching people in different ways of how they get information. Now, remember that everyone learns differently. They get information differently, but video marketing is still like the #1 form of marketing, as well as word of mouth. Okay. So your consistency and your visibility is going to help with word of mouth, because even people who've never worked with you, if they're constantly seeing you, if they're constantly getting emails from you, or they following you and they can get information from you, they know that they can go to your Instagram page for something that they need that you offer. If you're a life coach, they can constantly go to your page to get empowered. Then they're going to recommend you to people, even if they've never worked with you themselves, just because you're establishing a brand. Okay, so those were some sort of tactics, right? That's like the tactics on how to do what you do. But we need to back up, because I don't know if you've already done this. I didn't want to go into detail too much on branding, because I don't know if you've already done like your brand foundation work, the things like, you know, say that, Jay, what are you saying? Go ahead. Yes. Okay. I'm trying to look at what you're saying. Okay. So let's talk about some brand foundation.
He said go in.
Okay. Go in. Okay. Does anyone have questions so far about what I shared? I hope that you're able to get something out of this so far. Does anyone have questions? Yes. Okay.
I don't have any questions, but just to give you some feedback, this is making sense, because I've thought about different things, like my initials are JEM. So like I've thought about like gems, like Gem Chronicles, or like little gems that I could put as being like a reoccurring kind of thing. So I'm mapping my thoughts to what you're saying. So yeah.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, and so look, here's the thing that you can also do tonight. One of the things is think about what your television network distributes, right? And then think about when it distributes those things. So come up with a content calendar for yourself. If this applies to you, like some businesses, like online stuff, marketing, it may not apply to you. It can help you. I'm telling you, no matter what kind of business you have, it'll help you. But if you primarily operate in an online space, come up with content, like a content calendar. So what does that mean? That means on Monday, you're doing a newsletter. Tuesday, you do live video. Wednesday, you do blog posts. Thursday, you put out a really amazing picture to get all this attention. Friday, you have a sale. Saturday, you're doing a live video. Okay, so think about what your content calendar will be. Don't stress yourself out. Like, don't put too much on yourself. If you know you don't have a whole lot of time, just put out one piece of content a week, but repurpose it. Okay, so just how I gave that example with Sean's podcast, he can put out one podcast a week, but he can literally use the same content in different ways all week long. Okay, so don't over bombard yourself. Like I'm saying a lot of things. It's not that you need to do everything, but just try to grab onto what makes sense for your business. Okay. And I love that the lady who was on earlier said, get on Google, right? Yes, you do. You want to get on Google. You want to have online content, because here's the other way that you're going to get Googleable. That's not a word, but just have content. If like I never went on Google to do anything with my business or any of that stuff. I need to do that. Bad me, right? I need to do that, but I'm constantly releasing content. Every day I'm putting out content. So Google searches Facebook. Google pulls up interviews. Like I did an interview with Jay and I was searching my name. That came up on Google. So it's like Google is going to pull all of those things. So if you're constantly putting out content, then you're going to be searchable on Google. One way to make sure that you're always doing content, having content, is social media, and you can have your own blog. Podcasts and YouTube also are really powerful in general. YouTube is big. Even if you're not getting a whole lot of views at first with your YouTube, consistency, just keep being consistent, because the thing about YouTube is those YouTube videos will show up in searches as people search for things. Like if I were to do a video and I'm teaching on Psalm 37, if I put that in my tag on YouTube, then anybody who searches for Psalm 37, especially on YouTube, then that video will probably come up. Okay, so YouTube is another good way to kind of increase your SEO, your search engine optimization. Okay, so let's talk about brand foundation. So one thing that you want to know is like who you are, right? You all have the name of your companies, your brand voice. Okay, what is your brand voice? What does that mean? That means like, how do you come off? Like with me, I told you off the break, I'm really high energy. I used to be a cheerleader. I'm super peppy, like I'm inspirational. So the way that you're going to come up with your brand voice is you're going to think about or write down adjectives that describe the way your brand sounds. Okay. So would you describe your brand as inspirational, encouraging? Is it serious? Is it educational? Is it upbeat? Is it conservative, liberal? Like all of these are adjectives that can potentially describe your brand or business. If you have comments also, then you can put them in the chat room. And thank you, Jay, for scribing. And yes, the workbook is at, you can also just, I'll put it on here. So think about it for a second. Write those adjectives down. This is going to be work. Okay. Like let's work. Okay. So brand voice, adjectives that describes the way your brand sound. What is your brand promise? That means what can you guarantee that your clients or customers will leave with? What is your guarantee? What are you promising those people that you work with? And in this workbook, there's actually space that you can like write if you wanted to like keep it with you. So what can you guarantee? Who's your target demographic or dream client? We talked about that. So that like, who's your ideal audience? What's their age? What is their race? Hobbies? Lifestyle choices. What lifestyle choices do they make? For instance, is your client or your target audience, would they rather shop at Walmart or Target? Are they a Walmart shopper or a Target shopper? Do they wear Steve Madden or Louis Vuitton? Do they like football or basketball? Would they rather sit home on a Friday night or go hang out and party with their friends or, go to a cocktail party or gather? So these are all, it goes beyond like age, right? You want to actually know their behaviors. Because if you know their behaviors, you can speak to their behaviors. The thing about branding and marketing is all storytelling. So all of this stuff can inform your stories that you share with them. The stories that you share will determine the doors that your brand will walk through. So just think about the stories that you've been sharing up until this point. It has opened doors for you or it has closed doors for you. Okay. And then this was a process that we used to do in my branding agency with our new clients, but we would then come up with brand messaging based on those 3 points. So when you come up with your brand messaging, this is like your tagline, this is like your program descriptions. And so I'm going to read what this says. It says in this section, brainstorm on various taglines, then describe why these taglines make sense for your brand, considering your target audience, your brand promise, and your brand voice. Then you want to think deeper about each of your taglines and brainstorm on like simple program names that work with these taglines to support your main taglines. If you are unable to generate enough ideas for programs or topics, then your main tagline isn't strong enough. Okay, so basically, if you say, like my tagline for my publishing company, it's mission-centered stories with kingdom-minded visionaries. Okay, so I should be able to take those words and basically create programs and ideas and speaking topics based on that tagline. Are you a mission-driven visionary? Great. We have the most amazing program for you. We have a 60-day writing and publishing program that's going to help faith-based authors reach their readers, inspire people, impact the world. So you should be able to just flow off of your tagline. So this is like helping you put the thinking behind the decisions that you make. So if you have a tagline, what are the programs can you create? Can you create products now off of that tagline? So products, right? Products, programs, classes, or workshops. You should be able to create things off of your main tagline. You want to make them believers. Yes, Jay.
You guys are a product of my tagline. You guys are in I Won't Starve. you have I Won't Starve shirts. You have I Won't Starve everything. So you see what comes out of the school of Natasha?
In this workbook, we have an example of how we did this with a brand, with a client. Now, then the next thing that you want to do is you want to, okay, so brand messaging. So I'm going to give you an example of a brand message that we had. So this one, it was called Meraki Community Uplift, right? And so I'm going to kind of describe, like, go through the process that we just went through, okay? With, let me see, I think I downloaded this book today on my computer. So I'm going to try to show you all.
I've already made that you can share your screen.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so I do have this book. I'm gonna show you so you can read along, so it's not just like you listening. Okay. Okay, remember, I need to tell you, I'm very manual and I'm old school. So I've been doing marketing for 20 years. So a lot of my ways, like, I know that there are probably so many better systems now, but it works for me. Okay, so just know that it's probably like a better way to do what I'm doing. Okay, so this is what we kind of went through. So Meraki, their brand voice, is a Greek word that means to do something with soul, creativity, or love, to put something of yourself into your work. Meraki Community's Uplift brand voice is optimistic, enthusiastic, inspirational, progressive, non-traditional, educational, compassionate, realistic, warm, inviting, and inclusive, empowering. Their brand promise, they serve as a catalyst for individuals and communities to empower themselves, where am I at? And each other. Its brand promise is to educate, uplift, and empower youth starting in the Oliver community of East Baltimore with urban farming and gardening skills. Meraki Community Uplifts promises that all of its programs, content, and initiatives will be community focused. Their target demographic is youth in the Oliver community in Northeast Baltimore. Secondary demographics include families and potential community partners, including community stakeholders, businesses, and leaders who desire to unite in order to affect change for children in their neighborhood. And then here were some of the brand messages that we created. Nourish, and I hope that I have the final one. Okay, because we went through like 5 of these, and I actually need to make sure these are the final ones for them. So nourishment to rise. The tagline, nourishment to rise, speaks to Meraki. So these were out, we basically give them a ton of ideas. After we go through the process with our clients, this was for my branding agency. We would then give them, we would take all their data and then give them like different options for messaging. And then we would kind of tweak it like based on their feedback, and we would work on that, like work together. So these were just kind of ideas that I gave them. So nourishment to rise, the tagline, and then we would explain why the tagline would make sense. So it speaks to Meraki Community Uplifts gardening and planting initiatives. Nourishment has a double meaning for food nourishment and also food for the mind or soul. Nourishment to rise is broad enough that it can encompass each of the organization's community-focused initiatives. A message example, gain the nourishment to rise with Meraki Community Uplift. Program topic example, nourishment to rise community day or symposium. The nourishment to rise may also be a book title of a book title, a newsletter, a blog, etc. I didn't really like it, but it was in my head, so I just shared it. So another one, plant, produce, or rise, or together we plant, produce, and rise. The tagline plant, produce, and rise, or together we plant, produce, and rise, has a double meaning with both plant, the verb to place in the ground, or a noun as in living organism, and also produce, the noun vegetables, produce, or verb as in make or create. These three words enforce the brand values and mission of Meraki Community Uplift and its focus on ending the food desert in its community and uniting members of the community to empower each other. Message examples: plant, produce, and rise with Meraki Community Uplift, or join Meraki Community Uplift's next farmers market. Together we plant, produce, and rise. And then the last one, the catalyst for community transformation. So then after that, you want to take your adjectives that you created, okay, in this step, the first step, the brand voice, right? You want to take those and then figure out what your colors will be. So we came up with color palettes for them, and we explained why they make sense. Green, renewal, survival, prosperity, gardening, strength; orange, energy, youth; blue, calm, gentle; aqua, teal. So we came up with different ones. Okay, so then this is what they chose. They ended up choosing, we went through a second round, and so their last one was educate, cultivate, transform. And that's what they ended up choosing for their brands. Okay, so, and then this was their final brand color that they chose. Okay, so then we talk about color psychology, like the colors that you choose are going to make people feel a certain way. So when you develop your brand colors, consider the emotions associated with the various colors and also what they symbolize. Okay, so here are 3 different color wheels. You can find these on Google. And these are what the different colors mean. Okay, there's one wheel. Here's a color wheel for feelings. These are the feelings associated with these colors. Okay, and then and this is a brand guide, color emotion. So your favorite brands, this is what they're communicating or what they desire to communicate. Does anyone have questions?
So for pink, do I look between the purple and the red, or what?
Yeah, pink usually symbolizes passion. So let's see.
That makes sense.
Yeah, passion. Yeah, that's the main thing that
I have a comment. This is great, Natasha. This is very detailed. This is amazing. And y'all who asked about when we were going through marketing and market research, talk about psychographics. This is what this is right here.
Mm-hmm.
You're getting a chance to look at what psychographics look like. You know, really touching into what you do and make your client, what your client is going to feel off of what colors you put out, or you know, those type of things. This is your psychographics. You get a chance to look at it firsthand right here. So Natasha, amazing.
Yeah.
Natasha, do you no longer do the brand marketing side of things?
No, I really
I used to. So this is kind of like, this is torture, because you're like, look how great I am. I don't do that anymore.
Well, what I've been trying to do is put everything on, and this book is actually pretty old. It was done in 2017, but I've been trying to put things that I used to do in books, and then, like, you know, just kind of sell them and teach on them and stuff. But yeah, with my company now, we pretty much focus on authors and like their brand. But yeah, not right now. I mean, I probably will end up launching it once I build the company and get people to do what I do now. Then I can probably go back to some of the other stuff that I used to do. But yeah.
Catherine, I asked her earlier this year.
Yeah.
That was a great question. Keep on pressing from every
I
angle.
do teaching. So I do a lot of this stuff. Like, this is what I love. So I like to teach people how to do it themselves. So if I can teach you like how to do it, then you don't need me. You know what I mean? Like you can do it. Would you say?
I said, yes, blessings.
The one thing I do want to say is after that, so once the brand foundation, that work that we just did is brand foundation work. Many people skip that. They never do it and they don't think it's important. So you just come up with the logo, you come up with colors. You're like, oh, I want my colors to be orange, yellow, and purple. Well, you don't know what you're communicating, like none of that. Even if it's like you're just going through the process helps you inform yourself about your brand. And it really gets you to know who you are, what the things that you won't say, the things that you won't do, right? That'll just be totally off of your brand. When you do that work, then you know, like it informs the rest of your brand. The thing that comes after this in the book is your marketing plan, because after you do your brand foundation, then you're ready for your marketing plan. So that is like the SMART goals, your specific, measurable, achievable, results focused, and time-bound goals for your brand. Then we go down to potential tactics. So the tactics, I started off with the tactics today because we're very tactical people. We want to get down to business, but then we talk about the tactics. And then you come up with your program. So your program, your marketing program is pretty much a collection of tactics. Okay. So that's what I mentioned, like how you're going to create your content calendar. So the plan is what needs to be done when given everything above. So once you decide your program, then your plan is actually how you're going to do it. Okay. So the plan is like the last thing. But we often start off with the plan without having the identity, the brand image, the foundation. So a couple of things I definitely want to leave you all with. Think about your content calendar. Like what content are you distributing and when? Okay. Commit, invest in yourself, invest in good quality images. Pictures sell. Okay. Even if you have invest in a template for word graphics or a couple of templates for word graphics. If you're using Instagram, people are very visual on Instagram. Okay. People love pictures on Instagram and Facebook. Okay. And then think about your stories. So facts tell. Okay, but stories sell. So if you really want people to connect, if you want to sell your brand to people, you want to sell your organization, you have to think about the stories that are connected to your organization.
Ms. Brown, one question for you.
Yes, sir.
By the way, I just ordered your book too while we sit here.
Thank you.
Yeah. Talk to us about that rebranding, because at some point you hear people, you know, they went too far out there and nothing's happened. Now they got to go back and sort of rebrand because maybe they start wrong or there's something happened to the business. Now they got to do something to keep it alive. And can you elaborate a little bit more about that?
Yeah, so a rebranding is just like kind of like rolling out something new. So it's like, you know, you might do a new logo. You might want to rebrand when you want to just like refresh your company, or perhaps you're going in a different direction, or you're changing you're changing the focus of your company, or changing the direction. Then that will call for a rebrand, right? So you might want to update your brand identity. So your fonts, your logos, your colors, your messaging, your website, all of that is involved in rebranding.
Yeah.
Is that your question?
Yeah, I just want to throw that out there because sometimes what I've seen in the past where companies, they come in, they launch, and they go running 100 miles per hour, and all of a sudden there's nothing hitting. And then you look at the company, they start saying, well, gee, you know, they did evaluation, they messed up so many times. Rather than just fold the company, there was an opportunity to sort of, hey, look, let's back up a little bit, rethink, reorganize, re-strategize, come up with something that's better in order to save them before they just, you know, totally go belly up. So that's why I wanted to hear you say it.
Another thing, we're going through COVID right now. So a lot of people are rebranding right now. A lot of people are, you know, starting over. So that was a good for that particular situation. Sometimes you just got to put yourself out there in a different light. But it takes time. It doesn't have to take a long time, but I think Natasha said it best with consistency. Whatever the direction is, some people are like, well, I used to be this. If you post enough on social media, they'll forget about what you used to be in 5 months because they'll be seeing what you are now. And even the beautiful part about it for my social media gurus on here, even social media will start to understand, like, okay, he or she doesn't talk about that no more. He or she is not interested in that no more. So they'll start sending you to people that are interested in that, and that's in that type of conversation in that space. So don't worry about it. Just start making the shift. Like Natasha said, don't try to plan too long. Start working, start building it, and then start putting the plan in place. And this goes for your business plan as well. Again, Angelo specializes in that, but when you get out, you guys are starting in business, start working the business, because the bank is not going to give you no money if you can't come and tell the bank how that worked for you the last 3 years. So I don't care how you dress up that business plan and you tell them this perfect plan that's going to go straight from 0 to 200 million. And when the bank know that it's going to be squiggly lines all up and down that thing. So they know that already. They're not fooled. They're going to want to see the data. They're going to want to see, what did you do for the last 3 years before you came with this plan, or 5 years before you came to me with this plan? And what does it tell me that you're going to make 200 million? It better say you made 150 million last year and a couple years before that. So that's what they'll give you that type of money. So, this is all some of the stuff we was talking about. But to Natasha, I think they can say it for me. You've done a wonderful job. Yeah. Wonderful job.
Thank you all. Thanks for having me. Yeah, if you have any questions, I'm definitely here. I can stick around for a few more minutes, but I definitely want to just make sure that you're taking something away from this. So don't leave without a question if you have your question. And I also put my email here so that you can have that as well.
Definitely ask y'all questions. Angelo said he bought the book. I think somebody else bought the book. This one, I just got 2 of your books. And so
I'm buying it too.
Support her book. And yeah, see, everybody's ordering the book. Joanna just ordered the book.
Thank you guys. Oh, it's so amazing. You know how it feels, Jay, when you get supported as an independent author. You're like, thank you. I will tell you this book. So the reason why this book came about is because me and my friend, who's also an amazing brand strategist, Caressa, we did this retreat in 2017. And it was like a weekend retreat. And we were like, this stuff is good. So I literally just took the worksheets from the retreat. It's not really like fancy. I know you guys are probably, like I told y'all, I'm a content girl. So if I get content, I just put it in a book. So I just was like, we gonna put this in a book because we can't keep doing these retreats every weekend. But I think that if people have a retreat with themselves, then they can, then this book will help them. So it's a workbook, but it came from a retreat. So you're really getting a retreat in this book. It does have a section on writing books too. So if you ever wanted to write a book, this has like a crash course in book writing too. Yes.
All right. So my question for you, what strategy would you recommend? So as you were calling me out, asking people questions at the beginning, you touched upon like perfectionist and wanting things to be right. So that's one of my big things. And so a part of the reason why I didn't do my homework is because my procrastination, this area is a bit intimidating for me. I like to be able to follow like a recipe so that it can be right, it can be good. I know what the outcome can be because I want to be right. But this is like a lot of work, and there's in my opinion, probably a high likelihood I'm gonna get it wrong. So I'm like, well, I just didn't do it, and I kind of saved some time at least. So what do you recommend in terms of whether it's tips, tricks, strategy, or anything for a person like myself, given that that's kind of my wiring? To get in here and do it, and I guess to allow myself the grace, because it seems like some of this stuff is also unforgiving when you get it wrong, right?
It's not unforgiving. Nothing's unforgiving. Listen, we are so hard on ourselves. Even when you post on social media and you mess up, like no one cares. They're literally scrolling down 1,000 posts a minute, like 100 posts a minute. You know what I mean? So it's like, think about how much data people take in every day. Now, if you're paying thousands of dollars. And I would talk about a rebrand in 2018, when my last company, I had just did a rebrand in August. At the end of August, I went to a conference. In that conference, God told me to stop building that. I was in the process of building a website, a new website. We had just released new logos. I bought big banners because I was an exhibitor at this conference with thousands of entrepreneurs. I had, I had branding, spent a lot of money. And then less than 30 days later, God says, stop, and launched this new company. He literally downloaded my business now into my head. So I had to completely stop and go different way. And I felt like an idiot. I had just marketed myself to thousands of entrepreneurs, built my list, all this stuff. And I stopped. I had to stop. But it's not unforgiving. Keep going. So I would just say, shoot for excellence. Shoot for excellence, not perfection. So I am a big writer. I write everything down before I will release it. So even before I'll teach, I'll write down what I'm saying. I'll make it, I'll write it down and then I'll make it, or however the making looks like, whether it's an Instagram post or a marketing plan, I'll write it out. I'll read it, proofread it, ask God to let me see anything that's messed up. And then I have a person, if I need a second opinion, I have a couple of people that I'll get their opinion if I need it. And then if they say, yeah, this is good, and I say, yeah, this is good, I release it. Now, later on, I might come back. This book is far from perfect. It's not designed. It's literally like Microsoft Word, printed sheets in this book. But I didn't have time, I didn't have the luxury, the time, or the money when this book was made to worry about that. I needed to get it out because people needed the information. Now, maybe next year I might redo it and do all the fancy stuff about it. And sometimes I beat myself up about this. I'm like, dang, I have a publishing company now. I didn't have a publishing company when I did this book. It was just, I was just doing stuff. So I was doing branding and things like that. I was still helping authors publish, but I didn't have a publishing company. So now, knowing I have a publishing company, it's in my head, I need to go back to that book and make it better, to the standards where I would publish a book, right? But I didn't have time for that then. So guess what? When this book come back out, everybody else going to get it for $50 or something. Whereas the people who get it now, you guys get the $25 version. Okay, so I would just say, don't be so hard on yourself. Strive for excellence, not perfection. And then if you have one person who could be your accountability partner, or a group of people, if you need someone else's opinion, then get their opinion and then just go for it.
That's really good. Thank you. I really appreciate that.
You're welcome.
And just to add to that, with my second book, I didn't have the, if you got my book when it first came out, You Won't Starve, it doesn't have an assessment in it. If you get it now, it has an assessment in it. So it's out. You got them first with 300 copies. You don't have an assessment, but the next one has an assessment. I'm not charging it anymore, but I upgraded the book. I needed that. And what happened was the contract was coming. And a school said, hey, do you have an assessment in the book? Yeah, we got one. We went straight in there and put that assessment in there, republished that thing, and sent it out there. I got to speak on December 2nd, to this school, and I'll probably work with a whole school district because of that.
That's amazing.
Because that's what they needed, and we made that thing happen. You want an assessment? Here you go. 30 questions, bam, there you go. And that's how you got to do it. So it definitely is forgiving. I'd say I have it to you, and give me about a week. We made that thing happen. We burnt the midnight oil. And Natasha, when you trying to get that stuff right, trying to upload a new published book, and you republishing, and then you got to get your stuff right, and they keep telling you rejecting it, and you're like, come on, man. We got it in there, sent it. So this is what happens. So it's definitely forgiving. The knowledge that you get from the mistakes, or what's perceived as mistakes, is so much more valuable. So much more valuable.
I agree. I do want to add, if you have not written a book and you're a subject matter expert on something, definitely put that in your plan. Like, make that a goal. Like, seriously, even if you have a story that you learn lessons from, make that, like Jay reminded me, my first book, 10 Blessings of Betrayal, that's a story. I was wrongfully accused of a very serious crimes. And I wrote a book about it. The book is about this big, but it became a bestseller, went all over the world. Even today, people still order that book. But in the book, I have a rebuilding guide where to help people who are rebuilding after and during tragedy. And do you know, different nonprofits like the DC government hired me, like contracted me and my nonprofit to do group programs with women who were like coming out of addiction and abuse and who were in like DC funded housing. And so make yourself, like, put your knowledge in books. Even down to this class, I was like, why does Jay want me to speak on this? I don't even talk about this anymore. And like, I remembered I had this book and I was like, oh, let me just go and see what I wrote back then. And I like, you know, and then it comes back to you because it's in you. You know what I mean? Like, this is in me. I do it in like inherently now, but I don't do it like I used to do it every day, but I'm teaching it every day when I work with our authors and things like that. But when you write something, it like becomes solidified and you really can position yourself as a subject matter expert. So all of you life coaches, nonprofit owners, Sean with your podcast, all of you with these, you have wisdom. You really need to add books to your marketing plan because that can really help you build an empire with your business.
And the reason why, Natasha, as I said at the beginning, we are authentic here. I needed somebody who worked with me. You know, there's a lot of people who say they do stuff. I wanted my people to be able to, everybody's gonna rant and rave about you. I believe that in here. I think I can speak for them. And I knew I needed to have someone who I can count on and I can say, hey, you like what I'm doing now 10 years ago? This is who got me started. So if you're getting started, you know, this would be a good person to learn from.
Thank you, Jay. I appreciate you. And I appreciate y'all listening. Thank you so much.
Hey, love your energy.
Yes, Sean, take that audio. Absolutely. Oh my goodness. Yes, yes, yes. You already have books. We write in our books on Facebook every day. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got books already in you. So write those books. Yes, write those books and please reach out to me if I can help you with anything. In next month, we might have one day, Discovery Day, open again for anybody for like who has questions on books. So just subscribe to our email list at our website, www. And this is my personal little landing page on the website. But if you subscribe to the email list, you'll get a sample of my new book, which talks about my missionary journey in Africa. And oops, that's I didn't send that to everybody. But then you'll also be on our email list to get updates on when we open our calendar back up for discovery meetings. So I do ghostwrite. That's actually how I got started in publishing. So the first year, Sean, that I started in publishing in 2015 after I wrote my first book, 10 Blessings of Betrayal. People started to reach out to me and ask me, they read the book and they were like, hey, can you write a book for me? And I'm like, okay, cool. So I started writing books for others in 2015. And that year I wrote 10 books. I wrote 10 books in 2015. And since then, I've ghostwritten or co-authored at least 30 or more books. And I turned the branding agency. I stopped that and started doing publishing officially in 2018. But before then, we were still publishing under the branding agency. But God is so amazing that he just kind of transitioned me. I had a business partner and she was kind of not doing anything. And so God started sending just authors. And so it was almost like a seamless transition of like branding to publishing. So he's just amazing like that. Yes. Okay. So I scheduled a live tonight, guys, on my social media accounts, on my Facebook pages, because I'm rolling out new products. So I'm supposed to be live at 8:15. So I got to go, but I want to thank you all so much for being here. This was so much fun. And I just wish you all the best of luck. I know y'all are going to rock it out because Jay is an awesome coach. And you all are awesome already. Like, I love your business ideas. I love all the progress that you're making, the contracts that are coming in. I'm like, I needed to be in this class as well, okay? Because I need some contracts. I need to be on BET like this, okay? So anyway, this was so much fun. Thank y'all for having me.
Thank you so much. Class is dismissed, you guys. We are definitely in the question and answer segment, but Natasha, thank you so much. I didn't want to stop you, and I wanted everybody to get
Thanks, Singleton, my old friend, and Hanif Permiss.
So you guys, thank you so much. If you guys need to talk to me, let me know. But if not, we can let you guys go. Natasha, much love. Love you. Enjoy yourself. Thank you so much. And you guys buy the books. Support her. Talk to her if you need her to help you with your book. I'm still trying to get her to help me with some PR stuff. But when she, I'm spoiled. I've tried to work with a few people. I'm like, no, this is not it. This is not it. This is not working. So I'm spoiled. When she's ready, I'll be ready. I'll be waiting on her.
Listen, you need to pray to Jesus Christ to come back and reincarnate himself in Natasha for me to do PR again. I promise you.
I get it. Thank you so much. You guys have a good one. Like I said, if you need me, I'm gonna stay on for a couple more minutes. But you guys, Natasha, have a good one. And,
good night, y'all.
Bye.
Yeah, Tasha.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you.
Bye.
Wasn't she amazing, y'all?
Yes, she was.
That was
Fire.
Yes, she was.
And I'm not lying. I literally, when I was writing my second book, I was like, look, Natasha, you got to come out of retirement, man. I get it. But she's like, I'm not doing that no more, Jay. And look, I was a paying client. It wasn't like she was doing that for me for free. She just wasn't trying. She made up her mind, but she's very good at what she do. And people here.
Jay.
Yeah.
She wasn't gonna let you make her sell pink T-shirts. You don't got pink. She's like, I don't sell pink. You better take this green, black, and brown.
She's serious about what she does, and I wanted her. Again, I'm dead serious about. Everyone and I talk about this all the time. We're in South Carolina. It's a very small market here. We came from a huge market in the DC market, and working with her, so it's something different. And getting spoiled by working with someone like her and the caliber of people we work with, I'm like, I don't know. And so I said, I just can't put anybody with my class, I wanted to have some people that you guys can definitely take something from and work with. She's as you can hear her, she's a woman of God. She's been through a lot, and she's doing a lot of missionary work. That's another reason why she kind of went away from the PR space. She worked she put me with the Real Housewives of Atlanta at first when it first came out, and the Love and Hip Hop stuff. So she had me doing that type of stuff. So she wanted to get away from that community, period. So that's another reason why. But she's very special, special to my career. So I wanted to go ahead and bring her with you guys as well.
We appreciate that, Coach. She was awesome, and I'm feeling the same way, because just thinking about the branding. Of course, we're going to get the workbook as well, but it's sort of a bittersweet thing that you got someone like that's not operating in that same vein. It's like, man, that's a bad teaser. That's a real bad teaser, man.
Yeah, it is, but she's like, if you reach out to her, she's the type that if you reach out to her, if she had the time, she'll take an hour and talk with you. She'll take 30 minutes to talk with you. She'll do that. She's that type of person. My chief assistant, Tamika, if you know me, work with Tamika. Tamika has sat and worked with her, and she's done 2 sessions with Tamika, you know, to help her help me. You know, so and cause she know I needed something. So she said, well, I'm not gonna do it, Jay, but I'll work with Tamika and help her out. And so she can take care of you. So at the end of the day, that was her way of saying, you know, this is how I'll bless you and still get some of her. But as you can see, I Won't Starve is a full brand. She taught me how to do this. So I Won't Starve is on everything. You know, if I go get my AirPod cases on that, it's on anything you can think of. You know, so it comes from me, coming from out of Natasha, it was the Think Brown Ink School back in those days. So, you know, I wanted to bring that same situation here. But and Hanif knows her. He's up in that area doing music and doing he's a radio personality up in that area. So she was connected with everybody in the radio space back in those days. So he knows who she is. You guys probably don't have no questions for me, but today. Hanif, you gonna say something?
No. Just want to co-sign what you said, man. You know, she's definitely she was definitely good and opened up a lot of all of our minds tonight, man. So very good presentation, man. Thank you for having her on tonight.
Yeah, definitely. And Thursday we gonna keep piling it on. You know, we're gonna have Mr. Michael Benz, the brother out of Atlanta, Georgia. He works for Parker Poe Law Firm. He's going to talk to you guys about intellectual property law. He focuses on that. Again, another person I work with, Parker Poe is one of the biggest law firms I've worked with. They have offices all over the Southeast, DC and the Southeast. My company, we've done headshots for the Raleigh office, Charlotte office, Columbia office, and Atlanta office. And he just so happened to work out of the Atlanta office. We've continued to stay in contact since then. And he's doing some amazing work. And he's doing a lot of charity work. He's doing a lot of teaching about, you know, intellectual property because we're getting done dirty in that space. You know, we have a lot of ideas. We come up with a lot of things, but we don't know how to protect it. So we want to go ahead and make sure you guys have that. So look out for him. Sean, you got to have a good one, man. Have a great show. And so be on the lookout for Mr. Michael Benz on Thursday. He's going to be our speaker and another power pack, you know, individual. If you don't, I did an interview with him maybe a month or so ago. He was doing something with T.I. at the Southern University in Louisiana. They were doing something about intellectual property with music and things like that. So we did an interview prior to that. So you want to kind of know a little bit about him, go on my website, jhalenetv.com, and check out the interview with him. But he's a good brother, and he knows a lot of knowledge, and he'll be here with you guys and learn about how to protect your business and your brand. After Natasha teach you how to build it up, you got to make sure nobody don't come and take it from you.
I have one quick question. I was driving when you all were talking about the homework assignment and the outline, like on the sheets at the top where it said outline, what am I really supposed to be putting in that area there? Because I know everything else was numbered towards the bottom.
Oh, it's probably
What you saying?
We had the outline set up in the what's supposed to be in that outline in the presentation.
Yeah. We're going to resend it to you because the bottom end, we have it set up so that you can do it. So maybe you was just looking at the top part, but we'll resend it to you.
Okay.
It was in the presentation.
Thank you.
No problem. All right. Any other questions before I let you guys go back to your families?
Great class. Thank you, guys.
All right. Thank you, guys. You guys have a good one. It's a good way to bounce back off of last week. Last week was rough. So we'll get back to it. You guys think about Sunday. It will be an evening time. We'll probably try to make it like a 30 minutes. We don't have to do a whole hour, but I would love to kind of get everybody together and kind of do a little, get the class, get the groups together, start talking about this so you guys can know what to do with your plan. I hope with your outline. I think Natasha talking to you guys helped out a lot as well. You know, when she started talking about tactics, And then Emerald's going to send you guys the class as well, so you'll get a chance to see the recording, some of the stuff she put up. So you can start talking about the psychographics, thinking about your colors, things of that nature. You know, so maybe some tactics that's not on the outline that I sent you, some other ones that she added on to it. You can use that as well. It's all fair game. All right. So we'll be in contact. If you need us, you know, you can talk to us anytime. You guys have a good night. We'll talk to you guys later.